All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I apologize for the audio if it's a little bit bouncy because I'm just using the shotgun mic on top of the camera. I'm not using my wireless mics for a reason. This is the Nikon ZF, and I'm shooting with the Viltrox 15mm f1.7. I'm in the standard picture profile, wide matrix. I have the face matrix metering turned on, and the Viltrox is the 15mm f1.7 APS-C lens. And I've set the white balance to 5500 Kelvin because the light that's over here is 5500 Kelvin. I bring it up. Here's the point of this video. Because yesterday I made a video about this, the OM-3. And I couldn't help but be pretty annoyed with the video quality that came out of this thing. But I think it's my fault. And so today we're gonna go through the different settings, or not settings, but different options to try to make the video look a lot better out of this OM-3. And the reason why the white balance plays an important role is because my light right here is 5500 Kelvin, which is what I have my camera set to. But this back here is not. And so I'm kind of wondering if this changed the white balance as well. The other thing to note is that the OM-3 kind of has a goofy setup. If you want to shoot with the picture profiles that are built into the camera, you have to put it on H.264 format. That's 8-bit. And the 8-bit's not very good on the OM-3. Other channels have talked about this. I think in particular, the Micro Four Nerds girl, Emily, her name, I think she talked about this. They're not very good. But if you want to shoot H.265 video codec or format or whatever that's called, that's a 10-bit format. And that's, or a 10-bit depth, 10-bit video quality, I don't know. And it's a lot better than the 8-bit. However, it makes you shoot in one of two profiles. Either OM log, which then you have to grade, or HLG, which I won't even play with. Going back to the 8-bit, if you do decide to shoot H.264 and try to use straight out of camera colors, there are some other interesting options, like Cine 1, Cine 2 colors. They're kind of flatter with different, I don't know, play on different colors. And then of course you can use some of the stuff that's built in with the color wheel. And then you can also shoot log, but it's 8-bit log, so why would you want to? I'm making this video because I think this looks good. This 5500 Kelvin, my skin tones look good here. The background separation's good. Of course, the autofocus is good. You get that warm light behind me. I think this looks pretty good. And I'll be honest with you, when I watched my own video back yesterday, I was like, the ZF kills this OM-3 in video quality. And video is something I do. So it's kind of important. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to go through different settings on this OM-3, and we're gonna take a look. Now, back to the lenses real quick. This is the 15mm f1.7 Viltrox lens. It's APS-C lens. So essentially we're getting like a 22mm field of view. And f1.7 is probably like, I don't know, f2.5, f2.6 in terms of depth of field. I know light gathering people relax, but that's what we're getting. It's a cropped in image circle on the full frame sensor. I bring it up because the lens that's on the OM-3 is the 12mm f2, which is like a 24mm f4 depth of field. So the Nikon should be a little bit shallower. That doesn't really matter, but field of view should be somewhat similar. So we'll switch over and talk about the different options on the OM-3. Okay, so this is the OM-3. If you're hearing different audio differences, it's literally the same mic. That's just different settings in the camera potentially, or it's different amplifiers, or just the way they process sound differently. Anyways, this is the 12mm f2. Now, this is H.264 format. This is 8-bit, and I have it on the setting where you can match it to your picture color profile. In this case, I have it set to the standard, or like the option 1 profile. Someone might say you want to go to option 3, which is standard or natural. Looks somewhat similar, but I have the white balance set to 5600, which was pretty much the same that I had on this Nikon ZF. If you look back here on the menu, maybe this is the thing, the menus suck on the Nikon ZF. I'll be honest with you guys, right? Like they just do. But if you look right here, I had this on 5560. So 5560, 5600, all pretty much the same. But this is what it looks like, okay? So we'll stick in the H.264 8-bit format for a second, and I'm gonna go through a couple of the cine options as well. I'm not gonna go through every color option because I don't think that matters, but here's what it looks like. how's the depth of field? And notice the color difference. I feel like my skin tone is a little bit actually closer to my real life, but there's a little bit of a different kind of color cast going on with the rest of this. And I would even say I'm overexposed a little bit. Now the base ISO is 200. I am at 1/50th of a second, f2. And so this is kind of what you get. Let me switch over to, you know what? Let me see if I can just stop this down a little bit. I darken it just a tiny bit. Does that look better? Does it look more natural? Is the highlights less blown out? This is 1/3 of a stop underexposed according to the meter on the camera. All right, let's switch over to the other options now. All right, so same settings, except this is Cine 1. What's interesting is it takes the base ISO and bumps it to ISO 400. So at the end of that last clip, I was 1/3 of a stop underexposed. Now I am 1 full stop overexposed. And I can either change my shutter speed, which does this. I'll even go back. So it looks like this. This is what the meter says is perfectly exposed on Cine 1. And I'm looking at this now in live in camera, but if I maybe do a little bit of extra contrast or whatever in post, it would look like this. But this is Cine 1. Again, white balance set at 5600, f2, and this seems to be pretty good looking. Like, see, there's more dynamic range. Let's go over to Cine 2 and see what that looks like comparatively. All right, so now this is Cine 2, and what's interesting, same settings as the last time where I was perfectly exposed. Now it's showing me 1/3 of a stop underexposed, and this is certainly way flatter. So let me get this back to a proper exposure according to the meter, and this is what it looks like. Now, looking at this on the screen, this begs for me to add more contrast, maybe some saturation back into the image. So I'll do that right now. But again, take this with a grain of salt because I'm not a colorist. I don't really know how to color grade that good, and I'm not that awesome at it, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is what Cine 2 looks like. Why am I going through the 8-bit versions? Because when I make any kind of videos, this YouTube channel is low effort for me. I don't spend time on thumbnails. I don't do a whole bunch in terms of like B-roll and going out. I just talk to you guys and I do stuff like this, and it's low. So I want to be able to flip the camera on and just have it look good. If I'm being honest with you, the ZF beats the OM-3, at least in my initial testing for that, which is why we're doing this. So what does this look like? Does this look better? Does the dynamic range look better? The lights look better? And if I added some of the contrast and color back in, like I talked about, does this look acceptable? Could I use this straight out of camera and go with this? I don't know. But the other option, and the one that most people recommend, is going to the 10-bit color. That's going to H.265, and that requires me to go to OM-log 400. So I'm going to pause this, and we're going to come back in 10-bit OM-log. All right, so this is OM-log. It's, again, ISO 400, similar to the 8-bit versions, the Cine profiles I talked about, and it's very flat. I'm leaving it flat for you guys on purpose to see what it looks like. What's interesting off the bat is I feel like there's a greenish cast to the image right now. I'm still at white balance 5600, so I haven't changed any of that stuff. It just is the way it looks. Now I'm going to go and color grade, and by color grading, all I'm doing is grabbing the LUT that OM Systems recommends on their website. Anything beyond that would be me just getting better as a colorist or somebody that like learns how to grade log and figure it out. But this is what it looks like after I grade it. Does this look better? What do you guys prefer? And you know, some will say, well, if you're taking time to grade your footage, that's a lot more work. But the reality is it's not, because to make a video, you got to take this footage anyways and drop it into DaVinci. And all you do, if it's something as simple as a one-click LUT, you just add the LUT, apply it, and you know, it covers the entire video. And then you can do your editing, chop up the clips and that kind of stuff. But this is what it looks like. And so I ask you guys to go back and compare to the ZF footage that started this. What looks better to you guys? The sharpness, there's depth of field that plays a role, but there's also the color itself and the clarity and that kind of stuff. And then I think once I have a chance to look at all these, I'll come back on here and make a little clip and say, hey, here's the one I think looks the best, and give you my conclusions. So let me go edit this and I'll come back to you in just a second. So I don't know, just kind of going through some of the editing right there. It's kind of hard to make the image look really good on the OM. I would say my graded version is better, and I'm sure I could get better at that, and maybe I could save some settings so it looks better. Or I would say the Cine 2 version on the 8-bit with some of my tweaks is a little bit better. But I don't know, does it look better than this? Guys, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have a cheat code for OM-3, how to make it better, quicker, easier, let me know. I'm still not so certain that any of the things I did on the OM-3 are better than what this ZF has got going on. Let me know, comment section. Thanks for watching.